going on, y'all? Right here is Main Street in one of my favorite small towns in all of the Twin Cities, really outside the Twin Cities. This is Stillwater, Minnesota. I'm telling you, this is a gem. Stillwater is one of the most special places in all of the Twin Cities. Again, just outside of the Twin Cities. So if you're at all interested in sort of small town life with the conveniences of the metro and great schools, you gotta watch this one. How's it going, y'all? My name is Jesse Lynch and I run the hardest working real estate team in the game. We're called To The Twin Cities, and you can check out our website, tothetwincities.com. But this YouTube channel, it's all about helping you find a place to call home here in the Twin Cities. And that's whether you're relocating from a different city, state, country, planet, dimension, realm, whatever, buying a house for the first time, or selling a house, buying another house. Those are all the things, relocations and helping people sell homes that are maybe difficult to sell or that really are special. That's what we do, and that's what we do better than anybody else. So if any of that appeals to you, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get notified so you can see when we put out videos just like this one. And of course, if you wouldn't mind, give the video a thumbs up, say something nice or funny or helpful or whatever in the comments. I would appreciate that very much as well. And if you'd like to work with us, reach out to us at tothetwincities.com. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in like 30 seconds or less, or you can just shoot us an email directly to info@tothetwincities.com. It's all good, we'll lead to the same spot. So totally up to you how you do it. We just ask that you do, and look forward to helping you make this all happen. I gotta say, I got a different camera set up today. It's a new camera, so maybe it might look better technically, but I have the wrong holding device and I'm not loving it, but we'll get through it. And I think the next video, I'll have this whole situation figured out. Today, we're talking about one of my truly favorite places in all of Minnesota. This is Stillwater, Minnesota. Let's dive in.
What's going on, y'all? We are here in Lowell Park in Stillwater on the boardwalk right off of Water Street. It's a beautiful fall day, about 70 degrees. I think we're some happy campers today.
Yeah, it's all right. It is not bad. We do have this new camera, which is a little bit strange. I don't know if you can see my arm, but usually I have a little bit of an extension, and this one I don't really. So
we're rolling with it.
We'll make it work.
So you might be able to see in the background the iconic Stillwater Lift Bridge, which is the namesake of Lift Bridge Brewing, which is nearby. The bridge is no longer in service as it relates to vehicle traffic, but you can still walk on it as a pedestrian, and it does still go up and down, of course, for river traffic. There's a much newer, really a stunning bridge just to the south that'll bring you right over across the river into Somerset, but it's kind of one of those iconic landmarks that Stillwater's known for.
Yeah, and really kind of lends itself to the touristy nature of downtown, which it for sure has a real tourist attraction for day tripping, that kind of thing.
Stillwater is the Twin Cities crown jewel of day trips.
Agreed, yeah. Agreed.
Hastings, the younger sibling, a very similar vibe, but Stillwater is the creme de la creme.
Yeah, it really is, and it is for good reason. It's absolutely beautiful here. You have the bluffs, you have the river, you have the old downtown, which is about as old as anywhere gets in Minnesota as far as city, anything like that. Fun fact, Stillwater was almost the capital of Minnesota, but instead they got the prison.
Yeah.
Pretty cool trade-off.
A little bit of a downgrade.
Back in the day, that was important, but yeah, I suppose it still might be. But yeah, big deal. And this downtown is one of my favorite, one of the most, like, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing, just beautiful downtown areas of anywhere in the Twin Cities. By the way, I don't know if it'll be out after this or before this, but we're doing a video on best small towns in the Twin Cities or around the Twin Cities. Stillwater making the cut, maybe one of my favorite, maybe my top #1, I don't know, at least top 3 It's beautiful. And given the sort of idyllic nature of the downtown, of the natural aspects of the area, a lot of people that we help do want to live here, or they at least idealize the concept of living here. But the commute into the downtowns can be kind of a deal breaker, a deterrent for certain people. So that's up to you to decide. And because from here to a downtown center of either Minneapolis or St. Paul, depending on the time of day, probably about 35 minutes to downtown Minneapolis with basically no traffic at all. And then maybe 20-25 minutes to downtown St. Paul.
So not terrible as it relates to a commute, and that will be affected by the time of day as well as the season, which goes for the metro at large. Some statistics as far as the housing stock here in Stillwater: your median sale price is going to be $472,000 and some change. And then as far as the actual housing stock of Stillwater, where we're at in the, we'll call it the historic downtown, like Jesse mentioned earlier, you'll get some of the oldest in the, late 1800s to some of that turn of the century, 1900s to 1920s-ish. And a lot of these homes will be part of historical preservation societies as well.
Yeah.
You've got some of that really cool old Craftsman Foursquare, Victorian style, some of the most ornate housing that you'll see in the state, really. But there is a wider variety. As you move west toward the schools, you'll get some later mid-century 50s through 70s. And then really on the northwestern side of town and kind of bordering on Lake Elmo, you'll start to see some of that newer construction, which does affect the price.
Yeah, and there's also the township north of town. It's technically a different municipality, Stillwater Township. There are some wild houses up there,
Yeah.
Some like true estates, palatial, bordering on, and some of the riverfront property up in Stillwater Township has just like some of the coolest actual land, in my opinion, within day trip of the metro.
We're in one of those towns like Hastings, Waconia.
It's just far enough out there that it's not debatably not part of the metro.
Flirting with the metro proper.
Yeah.
We're getting sprinkled on right now.
We are getting sprinkled on. So the schools here are definitely a reason that people want to live here. The schools are solid. They're not top 5. They're not in the elite, right, category, but they're very good.
They're right there.
Stillwater Public Schools, A-. Fun fact, some of Woodbury goes to Stillwater schools.
Yes. I've shown townhomes in Woodbury.
Yeah.
Like by the Costco. So pretty far away.
Yeah, it is that would be a hike to get here for sure.
Just depends on how the borders are drawn.
Yep.
Same with Bayport. It's kind of one of those things where folks will buy in Plymouth as well to sneak into Wayzata schools, stuff like that.
Yeah, and honestly, Wayzata schools, it's funny how this is a dirt road, but Wayzata is tiny and the school district is gigantic. The school district is bigger than the population of Wayzata.
Yeah, wow.
So,
not surprising.
Yeah, like the student body, yeah, pretty crazy. That's not the case here. Again, population around 19,000, pretty good sized town here. And again, that township, very cool. If you're looking for land, something equestrian almost, Stillwater Township, definitely worth looking into. Stillwater High School, good ratings, and there are solid middle schools and elementary schools as well. All right, we're gonna pop over somewhere else, talk through pros and cons. Be back in a sec. All right, y'all, right now we're in the Liberty development, Liberty Square, Liberty Village, Liberty on the Lake. I actually don't know 100%. There might be little varieties within this development. It's all the way on the western side of Stillwater, exact opposite of where we pretty much just were, down by the boardwalk. And it is a beautiful neighborhood. Nick is in love. Nick is absolutely swooning over this neighborhood, and it's awesome with good reason.
It's one of the most unique that we've seen.
Truly, like in the metro, like in all of Minnesota. It's basically, you'll see some more as we're walking down this way. It's basically development within the last 20-ish years. 2003. Yeah, 2003.
I guessed it perfectly. The tree size gives it away.
You can tell. And it's almost entirely Craftsman era, Victorian,
Yeah, which you don't see.
Yeah, and so newer build craftsmen in a whole development that really feels special.
Yeah, it feels like Narnia. It's immaculate.
Yeah, but so we want to talk through pros and cons as we walk through here, and hopefully, you know, behind us you can see some of these cool new craftsman homes sort of reveal themselves behind us. So pro number one for me, beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's one of the most beautiful cities in all of Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know,
whether it's the trees and outdoor space, the views of the river bluff, the architecture itself, it's just a gorgeous city. Stunning,
and just, yeah, cool topography, bluffs, tons of water. Love it.
Plenty of green space.
Plenty of green space.
If that's what you're after.
Yes.
So another pro is going to be the downtown corridor itself, Main Street, super idyllic, classic river town. We were on the Excelsior block, kind of on the northern part of the street, and you can just see the 1882, I believe it was, stamped right into the side of the building, carved out of limestone. Really awesome bars and restaurants. Just a really awesome place to go and hang out.
Tons of history down there. Again, one of the oldest places in all of Minnesota. The lift bridge, so cool. The way it's situated on the river, very cool as well.
Yeah, you can pull up and just hang out on the boardwalk. There's like 3 or 4 breweries right there.
Yeah, there's just tons to do down there.
Yeah, which is fantastic because we mentioned earlier, Stillwater, you know, 19, 20,000 people. Not a huge town, but there's just tons to do. Like we've already mentioned, tons of bars and restaurants. You can walk across a bridge. There's 3 or 4 nice golf courses around the area. And then of course, the river itself. There's a little marina right in town. If you want to get on that Minnesota, well, we say lake life, but you know, we'll lob the river in with that. Yeah. There's just a ton to do over here.
One of my brother's favorite like places to fish in general is that river. So
yeah, some good walleye in there and some prehistoric white sturgeon.
True.
If you're trying to really get down.
Also, head up to Taylor's Falls if you're here. Very cool spot. Interstate State Park, very cool as well. Easy drive from here. And another pro for me is the housing stock, and partly because it's awesome, and there's some very, very cool houses, including what we're currently within. I don't know if you can see this house behind, green, Victorian, has some like Nordic moments even.
Yeah.
Super cool. So just cool houses, that's one, but it's got a great variety of housing stock. You have about as old as a house gets in Minnesota, 1880s. Yep. That definitely happens here. To brand new stunners, brand new, more maybe, you know, down the middle. They're still all very nice though. Yeah, there's not much modest new build going on here. No. But some really, really beautiful homes in the new build era. And then yeah, stuff from the 70s, 80s, 60s, 40s,
we saw some like 80s, 90s contemporary condos too. It goes anywhere from, you know, the high 2s up to multiple millions. So from modest to epic, I think you might have said earlier.
Yeah, and really the luxury aspect of Stillwater, that this made the cut for luxury suburbs, even though it's barely a suburb, but the opportunity to find like an epic and luxury home is definitely here. Whether you want the old historic mansion or something in the township with like acreage, maybe on the river. I don't know, there's some very, very cool houses up that way.
Yeah, so also another thing, we've talked about a lot of the old architecture and that type of awesomeness that relates to Stillwater. You also, kind of on the western side, coming into town off Highway 36, really at the top of the hill before you start coming down, you've got a lot of, you know, more modern suburban amenities. I mean, you've got your Target, your Walmart, you got Chipotle, Starbucks, you name it. So you've got the old historic downtown with a lot of cool spots, mom and pop places, so to speak. And then, you know, you can get your little fix of big box just, you know, down the road, or up the road rather.
Yeah. So I think there are a few suburbs that do the mom and pop situation as well as Stillwater. Very few places, but they do the big box stuff pretty well here. I would say don't expect like luxury big box. Don't expect, you know, Wyzetta or like a Ridgedale Mall style of Minnetonka Mall. That doesn't really exist over here, but yeah, the more traditional big box like Target and stuff, you can't get that.
So while you have all these suburban amenities, there's not a true dedicated mall space that we know of with like some name like Stillwater Plaza or something.
Yeah.
For more of your high-end, maybe more niche shopping, you're gonna have to go over into Woodbury for that.
Yeah, we got a real nice quick trip. But the last pros, all right, I'm gonna say is the schools. Schools here are very, very good. Again, not in the top 5, not even in the top 10, but they're still in, you know, probably top 10% in the country. Very, very well-regarded schools.
I don't think I saw a B in the bunch. They were all various levels of A.
Yeah, very, very consistent across the board. And then let's move into cons. I guess based on all of these very desirable aspects, first con is that it's a bit more expensive to live here.
So with that, the median being about $472, I would say a con. Given that Stillwater is not a huge town, that range of what I would call affordable inventory, which is going to be, you know, sub 500 really, so kind of just a bit above that median and below, there's not as much of it. It doesn't tend to turn over as much, which is a byproduct of the size of the town and the fact that people seem to stay here, would be my guess. You know, maybe that's a little bit of conjecture, is it? Is that the right phrase?
Yeah.
But with that, a lot of the newer inventory that's going to be more abundant is going to be at that higher price point, so ergo more expensive.
What a beautiful spot this is right here.
This neighborhood
this is so
money.
So sweet.
We've never seen anything like this with this type of architecture and just
all the newness and the sort of design nature of it.
It's so green.
It's beautiful.
Sidewalks throughout. It's just really well maintained. I'm selling it. Hard sell. Well, because so many people,
really cool.
So many people want this.
Yeah,
and it's hard to find. This cross section of this architecture with new.
So okay, another con is that you're, you know, realistically 35 minutes to downtown Minneapolis with no traffic at all. Traffic adds quite a bit to that. So if you're commuting to downtown Minneapolis, which by the way, there's not much employment in Stillwater.
Right.
You're pretty much commuting or working from home if you live here. If you got to go to Minneapolis, it's a hike. Yeah.
And with that, you know, we were talking about all the bars and restaurants. A lot of the jobs around here are going to be in service and retail.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of, to Jesse's point, that we know of. Anderson Windows is over here.
Yeah.
You know, but companies of that nature, they're not super plentiful. They're going to be more in the metro core.
Yeah, which kind of on the same note, Stillwater is about as far as you could be from being a central location to the metro. It's truly on the edge, almost Wisconsin. So that's going to be like another con. You know, if you have friends or family by Lake Minnetonka, well, that's a
pack a bag, buddy. And fill your tank.
Seriously, that's a ways away. So
you could probably get to Minnetonka in like an hour and 15, maybe less.
Depends. You'd be going all the way like around, you know, you'd be bypassing the city to do it, but it's a hike though for sure. And then last con for me, I think for the group, is that there's really only one highway that serves Stillwater. I mean, there's 95. That's a highway, but it's like 2-lane.
It's a glorified county road.
Beautiful road trip. You know, great motorcycle ride road, something like that. But realistically, Highway 36 is the only way in and out of Stillwater. That like is a main, you know, artery of the cities. Friends, now I just wanted to venture into Stillwater Township. Stillwater Township is just to the north of Stillwater. It's about the same landmass, maybe even a little bit bigger than Stillwater proper, but it gets very rural, very quick. As you can tell, dirt road. I mean, there's cornfield right here. There's a fairly modest rural home right there. But Stillwater Township has, again, a big variety of massive like estates, some really impressive homes, proper ranches, even equestrian farms, and the like. And more people want a little bit of room, they want a little bit of shoulder space. And if they're buying something luxury, a lot of people are saying they want something new with really nice finishes. Funny, a lot of people who want to buy a luxury home don't call it a luxury home. I get it. Feels weird maybe, depending on what your background is, what you're coming from. But ultimately, if somebody wants a luxury home, they want some space to come with it, this is one of the best places that you could find it. If you watch this channel, you know that I have a section that I call my For Fans of section, which is to say, if you like this area, here are some other places that you might like. But in this one, I'm actually just going to defer you to the next video that will come out, or one that just came out, which is called Best Small Towns in the Twin Cities. Basically, all of those would be something like a For Fans of, ranging from the bougier end of things to the more modest end of things, but they all have the small townness in common. And of course, if you want to work with us, whether you're buying, relocating, or trying to sell and want us to feature your home on this channel, we would love to help. Go to our website, tothetwincities.com, or shoot us an email directly to info@tothetwincities.com, and we will take very good care of you. Nobody works harder than we do. Nobody shows off a home like we do. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.